Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am testing out this new Makeup by Mario SurrealSkin Awakening Concealer. This is brand new. It just came out. We're gonna do a full day wear test. I absolutely love the foundation, so I'm gonna apply the foundation, the concealer with you, and we're just gonna see how this goes. If you're interested, continue watching, and of course if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe down below, and you can also follow me on Instagram. Let's get started. This concealer is $29. You get 5.8 ml, and it is a medium coverage natural finish. It says here that it is a pro performance multi-use concealer that visibly lifts, blurs, and brightens your under eyes and complexion for an awakened appearance. Now, I have tested this out in store, kind of played with it. I tested out the color 200, and that worked almost perfectly for my skin tone, but I decided to go for 220 because it was a little bit more peachy. I love a peach, concealer, even if it has just a slight tint, but the depth of both of them seemed very similar. I have here the foundation 8N. This is a little light for me right now, so we're gonna mix it a little bit with my Chantecaille Anti-Aging Face Tint, just because I just want this to look good. Putting a little bit of these here, mixing these up. I wanted to do the foundation on camera. I don't know why. I just felt like it. I absolutely love this foundation. So when I saw that there was a concealer coming out, I was so excited. There's so many products coming out. Like Tower 28 has a new concealer coming out. House Labs has a new one, and I cannot wait to test that one out. So there's a lot of new products coming out, but I do want to do some more like just basic makeup tutorials or eye looks. I want to do the latte makeup trend. It's just something that I would love even for fall. And I also want to get back into my declutter. So those videos are coming, but I do want to review these concealers, these 3 concealers, just because they're brands that I really, really love. It seems like you guys are so interested in them. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that I'm planning to do something more than just review products. But I was very curious about this concealer. Okay, this foundation is so stunning. It has very good coverage. It's luminous. Look at that. I have a big old friend here. I picked at it. That's why it's so bad. So I feel like that's a good thing because we can test the concealer on that spot as well. Let's get into this concealer. This has the same packaging as the foundation. This is glass, this is plastic. It looks very, very similar. Let's see the doe foot applicator. It has a nice doe foot applicator. It's angled, kind of skinny, all good things. I'm going to swatch here the color. I'm going to pull it back. So it definitely has a little bit of a peachiness, but it's not too much. See right there, the 200 was definitely very neutral, maybe too neutral for my under eyes, so I decided to pick this one. I did swatch quite a few colors around my shade range, and I was a little bit not very happy with the shades. It seemed like the undertones were the neutral seemed a little bit maybe olivey. This peachy one in the beginning looked kind of orange, but then I kind of tested it out and I was like, no, I think it'll work. Anyway, just first impression, I didn't love all the undertones, and they seem to be skipping over certain undertones, like more cooler tones. But again, that's just first impression. And Sephora lights. Let's not forget about that. Okay, let's try this on. Hopefully I got a good shade. And this right now feels a little thicker in consistency, but it seems to dry down quite matte. Let's see how much coverage this gives us. I have to admit, when I swatched it in store, I didn't love it. It just felt too drying for my under eyes. So I'm very curious how this will look and perform. Right now it looks nice actually. Has good coverage. I would say medium plus right now. Like it doesn't cover completely, but it covered really well. I like the color. The color's good. I'm glad I got this one. I do enjoy, just like I mentioned, just a little bit of a peachiness in my concealers. Just a little bit more here. Blends in really nice. And right now the finish looks more natural. It doesn't seem very matte, but I do have a feeling this will kind of dry down quite quickly. Let's put it around my eyes a little bit. So here we have with and then with nothing. I like the coverage. I like the way it looks right now. I like the color. I think it's just a little bit brightening, but not too much. Looks good. I'm going to put some here. Here, I'm actually going to let this sit and then blend it out. My Cupid's bow right here, a little bit. My mustache. My nose in here. And I kind of want to just see how this all looks before I go to this eye. I love Makeup by Mario. I don't think there's one product that I don't like from them. It's such a good brand. It's becoming more and more one of my go-to brands for so many different things. I like the price point, although the concealer $29, I mean, it's still good. It's still good, but it's getting up there. But I love their blushes. You guys know the enhancer, just everything is absolutely fantastic. Okay, this looks beautiful right now, but slightly heavy, just a little bit heavy for my liking, but it does look beautiful. Like it seems like it kind of meshed in my skin. It covers well. The finish is on the natural side, which is really great. Yeah, it looks good. Let's pat this out a little bit. Don't want to over blend. I need that concealer to cover this up. Okay, it looks really good right now. It has creased. Let's zoom you in. Right here in that like intense line, it has creased there, but most concealers do that. And yeah, again, with and without, I think it looks really, really beautiful. I like it on my forehead. It definitely seems quite blurring. I think it reminds me a little bit of the Natasha Denona New Concealer, which I like, but it's not my favorite. It's just a little heavy, or maybe fuller coverage for me, but so far, this looks good. Let's put it on this side. I was thinking if I should try to use a corrector, but I like the coverage that this gives. I don't feel the need to have corrector, and I don't want, I don't know, to add more product under my eyes right now. It does blend in really nice. I'm liking this so far. In store, I definitely used my fingers and it kind of felt a little drying on my eyes. So I'm just very curious how this will feel throughout the day. But I didn't moisturize my skin in the store. You know, it wasn't like I had just moisturized my skin, and I really did do a good job moisturizing and cleaning my skin before I started this makeup. The concealer looks really nice right now. I feel very perfected and covered, but it's just a little bit heavier than I enjoy it. I kind of feel like it's emphasizing some of my fine lines a little bit more than other concealers. It really does remind me so much of the Natasha Denona. I'm going to actually swatch them side by side just so I can see the texture on my hand. So this is the Natasha Denona, and then the Makeup by Mario. Ooh, actually right now, the Makeup by Mario seems a little bit more matte finish, like a little bit drier than the Natasha Denona. Well, now that it's set, they kind of seem very similar. They really are very, very similar. I want to say the Makeup by Mario seems to give a better coverage and the color's better than the Natasha Denona, and it seems to go over my lines a little smoother, maybe a little bit more blurring. But just the consistency and the feel of these are very, very similar. I can see a little bit more light reflection right here in the new one from Makeup by Mario compared to the Natasha Denona. It's very, very slight, but I kind of see slight reflection. Let me zoom you in now because I want you to see here that it's kind of set down, you know, it's dried a little bit. I find that it looks a little heavy, it looks a little bit like it's getting into my fine lines, or it's emphasizing the fine lines slightly. It really reminds me so much of Natasha Denona because that one did the same thing. However, throughout the day, it lasted so well. So it's kind of like a give or take. I do like it though. A little bit of powder I think will really fix that. And I like the finish. The coverage is amazing. It was easy to blend in, but it's just a little heavier than I enjoy. I am going to set one eye just to see how it looks like. I'm using my Givenchy powder. This was limited edition, but number 3, I would say it's my favorite. I just don't know what that one is, but they're all wonderful. So I'm going to take a little bit of this powder, very little. I take some off, and I'm going to set this side just so we can see how it looks. Definitely smoother, more blurring. I mean, this powder is absolutely incredible. So I had no other expectations from it. And I got something on my face. So here we have it with powder. It's definitely more blurring. It's smoother, but it didn't fix almost like my fine lines. I still see them mainly like when I smile. I can see the concealer kind of getting more into that area. So, you know, it's going to make it more blurry using some powder, but I don't think it's going to necessarily smooth out all your wrinkles and things like that. It's just this type of concealer for me personally, it's a little bit just too much. However, it definitely usually has its benefits because it will last longer, cover more. But yeah, this is how we are looking like right now. I like it. I don't love it. I think I'm going to powder this other side as well. Just a little bit. I think it would work better. And I want this to last all day. All right, my friends, let me go finish my makeup and then I'm gonna come back and show you the finished look, and we're gonna do lots of little check-ins throughout the day. It has been many hours later. I finished this makeup and I got distracted. I was doing things. And so it's been hours. So we've been wearing this for a little bit. I can do a check-in right now, but what I have on my face, I'll link everything down below, but I'll tell you on my lips real quick. It's this Makeup by Mario in Soft Nude, this lip cream. I love these. I think I have 5 colors. I love every single one of them. It's just so good. I know there's like mixed reviews about those, but for me, they stay on. They're slightly plumping, like a little bit minty, nothing much, and I love every single color. And on my eyes, that shiny thing is this Makeup by Mario Master Crystal Reflector in the shade Quartz. I get asked every time I wear this, what is on your eye? It is so beautiful. You can build it up, you can kind of keep it softer. I wanted to build it up a little bit, and then I just have a green liner. That's about it. Okay, so let's look here. I still have similar thoughts. Like, I like overall the way it looks. It just is maybe a little bit too thick for me, or drying, because the consistency is thicker than a serum concealer, but it's not too thick like Pat McGrath. So it's not like that. Again, it's so much. I know I'm repeating myself like 3 times, I think, but the Natasha Denona and this one seem very, very similar. But yeah, that's how we're looking right now. Let's zoom you in. Here is how the concealer looks like. Overall, it's fine. I did set it and I didn't spray it yet, but I do think I kind of want to put a little bit of the caliray setting spray. I always do this, so I kind of want to see how this will react. I think it's going to be better, but as you can see, I don't know how much you can see. For me, it's just a little bit too much, maybe even coverage wise, and it just feels a little bit more than my regular concealer. But it's pretty. Like, I can't deny the fact that it covered everything and it was blurring. So it overall really did a good job. I do want to spray this a little bit or a lot. I never spray after I apply the mascara, so hopefully the mascara won't run everywhere. But I bet I already feel like my skin already looks more moisturized. So those are my initial thoughts. Now, if you like the Natasha Denona, I really think you're gonna love the Makeup by Mario one. I think they're very similar. If anything, I think I prefer the Makeup by Mario a little bit more. It's, I wouldn't say luminous because I don't consider this luminous, but it's maybe a little blurring on the skin and it has a slight soft finish to it. But I'm gonna have to wear it throughout the day. That is it for now. I'm gonna do a few check-ins in natural light, and at the end of the day, I will give you my final thoughts. So right now in natural light, I'm actually loving the concealer. Let's see if I can get closer here. I walked out of the makeup room and those lights show every single thing, but I kind of feel like it looks good and it's not as matte as it felt there. I also sprayed that caliray, and that caliray, it's magic, but I kind of feel like it's looking better. Maybe my oils are coming through and kind of meshing with the concealer better. But I kind of feel like it looks really nice and perfected. Pretty good coverage. I wouldn't say it's full, but I would say it's medium to full. And I think it's that caliray, honestly. I feel like putting that on made everything look better. Let's look in this light as well. Here we have another natural light, and I don't know, I'm kind of liking this. I don't think it looks quite as drying as when I first apply it. Now the color looks a little bit off, but I mean, I put a brown liner and I kind of played quite a lot with the eye. So I think that the color picked up a little bit of that liner, and then I kind of try to fix it after. So I don't think it's the actual concealer the issue. I think it was just like what I did that kind of made it look a little bit off. I actually really like the color when I initially applied it. But yeah, it's been hours so far. I do have a Merit blush, and that one's quite glowy. So all that is from that Merit in the color Fox. The blush, it's beautiful. Anyway, but that's about it for now. I'm liking it more. I'm surprised because I was like, even in store when I swatched, I was like, ugh, that's gonna be drying. I'm not gonna like it. But mixed with that caliray, I think that was it. I don't think I loved it when I didn't have the caliray on, but after I put that, it almost like added just a beautiful sheen, and it helped my under eyes as well. All right, that's it for now. I will do a few more check-ins, hopefully natural light, so you can see all the good stuff, and I'll see you in a little bit. Second check-in, the sun is starting to set, so I just wanted to make sure I got another check-in in natural light. So, okay, I've been looking at this concealer for a little bit in the mirror, and I've noticed that overall I kind of like it. But when I get really up close, let's see if you can see. Okay, right here, I kind of feel like it's a little dry. It's right here where I probably have the most fine lines. I have these kind of lines right here. See that one that are developing. I've kind of noticed them in the past maybe month or two. So yeah, I feel like that's a little bit more emphasized, and I have other concealers that do a better job than this when it comes to that, but I don't think it's bad. So I'm kind of like in between. I think there's nice areas, like it did really good on the forehead, on my chin, and even this area, but right where the fine lines are, I don't love it, I don't hate it. I just, like, for example, my caliray doesn't do this. So yeah, but I think it lasted really well. Obviously, I'm kind of glossy because the foundation is quite luminous and my blush is very luminous, but I think everything stayed on really well. Again, the sun's about to go down and I feel like that's pretty good. So that's my one comment and my thoughts so far. Okay, I came to the back to show you another light. So here is how it looks like. It's the exact same time as the other check-in. I just kind of wanted to come in the back because the sun is setting on the other side, so you get different lighting. All right, that's it. I have put this concealer to the test, wore it all day. I was kind of active, and I have my thoughts on this concealer. Let's zoom you in. First thing I noticed is how well this concealer wore. I think it lasted all day. I don't see any movement on the foundation or the concealer. The foundation is obviously glowier, but the concealer has lasted so well, like incredibly well. When I mentioned that these kinds of concealer tend to get into my creases a little bit more, but the positive is that you have long-lasting concealer. This is no exception. This has performed so well throughout the day. Now, I don't think that this looks worse around my fine lines. So the way it first kind of got into my fine lines or emphasized them a little bit, it kind of stayed the same, if not better. Really putting this caliray really helped kind of blend that into my skin. You can definitely see here just where, you know, it kind of got into those fine lines right under my eyes. I have concealers that don't do that. The Kulfi doesn't do that. Even the Hourglass that I've been using a lot lately doesn't do that. But the Kulfi isn't quite as long lasting. So to me, it still looks good. I feel like if a concealer at the end of the day looks this good, I'm fine with putting up with a little bit of that creasiness. So I'm actually quite surprised at my thoughts changing on this concealer. I initially was like, I don't think I like it. It felt a little bit just too dry for me, even though the finish was more natural, not like a super matte. It just felt a little drying. And I'm not saying that it doesn't, but I do think throughout the day it performed so well that, you know, for it to look a little bit dry in the beginning, I don't mind it. Mainly when I combine it with a caliray, this kind of almost gives like a moisturizing factor to the skin. It worked really well. If you have a lot of fine lines, I don't think that this concealer is for you. I think this is for somebody who doesn't have a lot of lines, needs decent coverage, and the blurriness is really nice. So I feel like it's for somebody more like that. If you have oilier skin, I think this could be nice. If you have super dry skin, I don't know. It's really hot outside, so I was outside. I was kind of sweating quite a bit actually, and that helped the concealer. But if you have very dry skin, I don't think that you're gonna love it. It's not this super creamy moisturizing concealer. It's definitely more on the matter, natural like side of concealers. It's not like, for example, as glowy as the foundation. I was expecting the concealer to be more, not necessarily glowy, just maybe a little bit more moisturizing and a more natural to luminous finish, but it's definitely not that. But I do think I enjoy it. I really do think I'm gonna reach for it a little bit more. I prefer the Makeup by Mario over the Natasha Denona. It just performed a little bit better throughout the day, and the Natasha Denona, I saw that it was kind of throughout the day I could see my creases more and more, but with Makeup by Mario it just kind of stayed the way it applied. So I definitely see myself reaching for the Makeup by Mario over the Natasha Denona. So I feel like for me it's a good one. It's definitely not my favorite. I still prefer the Kulfi. obsessed with this concealer. It is just such a good concealer. The Chanel is better, in my opinion, for my skin. It doesn't get into those fine lines. It's not quite as drying as the Makeup by Mario one. Even the new Makeup Forever, I prefer that one because it's a little bit more glowy. So for my kind of drier under eyes, I prefer something a little bit with more moisture. But if you are normal to oily combo, I think you would really, really enjoy this concealer. The shade was really good, 220. It was a great shade. I do think the concealer is a good one. I just don't think it's for everybody. So I hope this video was helpful. Leave me your thoughts, your comments down below. I always read your comments. I'm trying to catch up with the comments because I've released quite a lot of videos lately, so I haven't caught up with all the comments, but I will. I always read them and try to respond, and it means the world to me that you interact and you enjoy the videos. You have no idea how much that means to me. So I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.